Okay, we're going to try something new today. I know you guys can't see it, but I've got a new weapon in my arsenal. I bought a new Canon, the new SL2. I'm playing with it. Hopefully the picture might be a little bit more crisper than the GoPro, even though I thought the GoPro done a good job. I'm kind of watching the screen over here. It follows my face around, which is kind of weird. Keep me focused in. So anyway, here we are, Wednesday once again. Had fun meeting Kevin and his wife. They came down, they took a look around, and before they went home, wouldn't you know it, they bought a house down there in the village of DeSoto. You got to watch that when you come down here, folks. I'm telling you, this place can be addicting. You'll come down for a couple of days, you'll look around, you think, huh, interesting. I have to come back and take a look again, and this time I'll come back for a week and really get a good look around and get an idea of what's going on around here. So you come down for a lifestyle visit. Before you go home, you either have a down payment on a lot to build a new house, or you bought something somewhere, which is good. This is not for everybody. Never said it was, but I haven't found anything any better for me. Good luck, Kevin. Like I told you before, now the work begins. Oh, on Kevin's house also, I got a video coming up Friday that mentions it, but I'm going to mention it again now. Him and his wife has decided they're going to rent it out to a full-timer. I assume they mean they're going to lease it out a year at a time. It will come unfurnished. It is a patio villa in Finney area, no, DeSoto area. It's close to a rec center where the adult pool's at. I'm not sure. But anyway, make a long story short, if you're interested in renting a brand new home and you have your own furniture, send your information to me and I'll forward it to Kevin. And then you guys can hash it out, is what you want to do. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to rent it out until he retires, and they want to rent it out to a full-timer, somebody, well, year at a time, to somebody that wants to rent that. So you guys can work out the details. I think it's going to be a heck of a deal for somebody. So send your info if you're interested, and like I said, I'll forward it to him, and then at that point, you guys can work it out. Scott. Oh yeah, Scott. I appreciate the information, Scott, and I appreciate the offer. Actually, I never thought about doing it this way, but you know what? Might not be a bad way of doing it. The realtors don't seem like they want to give me any kind of a heads up to help them sell houses, which is beyond me as to why not. But because I know of at least 6 people on my videos here that came down because of my videos, and those 6 people bought houses. Every one of them did. I know for facts they did, and every one of them told me that they told a realtor that they were down here because of my videos. And I don't get a thank you from any of the realtors. I don't get an email saying appreciate it. One time I walked into a house, and I just happened to walk into a house to take video when there was a realtor there that just finished a deal, and she shook my hand and thanked me, said that she just sold that house, a guy said, because of my video. And that's the only thank you I've ever gotten. So, and you know, not that I really need it or have to have it, but wouldn't you think it's just been a kind thing to do? Nothing, not anything. You know, not a free Starbucks card for a cup of coffee, nothing. So they live with themselves. That's greed right there. That's what that is. That's all about greed. But Scott's got a house he's closing on. I think, what do you say, closing August the 1st. And when he comes down here to close on that, he's given me an invitation before they start moving any kind of furniture in or anything, that I can come over to his house. He'll give me, well, I've got the address, but he'll call me and tell me where to go and what time to be there, and I'm going to go over there and I'm going to do a complete inside and outside video of a sycamore. I don't know what a sycamore is. Maybe I've already done a video on a sycamore. If I have, I don't remember. But anyway, we're going to go do a video on a sycamore August the 1st when he comes down. Also, I know a guy that just bought a patio villa down there, and he got the one with the two-car garage where the one car sits this way and the garage to the car goes straight in. I don't know if you've seen them or not. Kind of unusual the way they built them. And I was talking to him last night about doing a video, and he said, sure, come on down. He said, but not right now. He said, because my house is a mess. He said, I've got boxes stacked everywhere, and we're still getting moved in. I said, okay, that's no problem. I said, just let me know when and where, and I'll come down. So I am going to get video of that unusual looking patio villa, and I learned. He told me that he had what he was doing in his house, that he's got a master bedroom and a guest bedroom, and then he said, and this is what threw me off, he said, in my third bedroom, that's my office. I keep my office in there for my computer and stuff. I go, third bedroom? He goes, yeah, I got 3 bedrooms. That's new to me, because all patio villas that I had up north around the Lake Sumter area, they were all 2-bedroom, 2-bath. So I'm anxious to see this, the new design of this patio villa he got, to have a 3rd bedroom in it. And you know, I don't even know that he got a patio villa, but that's what he told me. So if it's got a 3rd bedroom, I want to see how this thing's designed for my own self, as for you. Also, Kevin and his wife bought a patio villa in DeSoto. Now I don't know when they're going to come down or anything like that, but I know that they're going to rent it out, and I think I mentioned it to Kevin and his wife. I'm not real sure. I'm pretty sure I did, but if I did, I forgot, so I'll say it here, that before they move in, I'd like to get access to that house and take video of their patio villa in DeSoto, so you can kind of get an idea of what that's like in DeSoto and how they're built and the proximity to rec centers and all that kind of thing. So both of you would, when you got the time and you got the keys and you got the availability, let me know when, where, and what time, and I'll run down there and do video real quick and get out of your way, and then you guys can go on with your life. So I have a couple of videos coming, maybe 3 videos coming of some new houses down there. So I'm kind of anxious to go down there and do it myself, and hopefully I'll do it on this new camera. I'm gonna, when I get done here, I hope everything is good and clean and clear. Okay, James Smith. We are coming down for our 3rd trip, and we'll rent for a month or so, find a house. We have not decided between a pre-owned or a new one. My question, since I know you have dealt with this issue, do we make an offer on to the villages new like we would on a pre-owned? Do we have the ability to negotiate? Do you offer the full amount on your new house? Well, if it's a brand new house, those houses are all owned by the developer, and there is no negotiation. They just tell you what the price is and take it or leave it. That's just the way it is. The only time a developer offers anybody any kind of a discounted deal would be when they almost get a neighborhood filled up and there's only a couple of houses left that they haven't been able to sell. Those will pop up, and they generally will throw a 6% discount deal on them. Or in our neighborhood, there was a couple of houses, and I think one of them, if you bought the house, they gave you a free brand new Yamaha golf cart. And keep in mind, the developer owns the Yamaha dealerships in all the squares. So parked in the garage after they bought the house was a brand new golf cart. So you can get a little deal like that once in a while, but on a new house, pretty much take it or leave it. A pre-owned home, yes, you can make offers on them because the developer don't have anything to do with them homes. He don't own them homes. Like my home, I own the home, so you'll be dealing with me. So yes, you can make offers on pre-owned homes all day long. Don't expect people to come down as much as they might up north, because the demand here is very, very high, and people doesn't really have to come down, especially if they're in a prime location. The odds are they won't come down. But you can catch people sometimes in a desperate situation. For example, and I hate to use this as an example because it's sad, but it's life. Somebody's parents or grandparents pass away, and the children live in Chicago. I'll use all this for examples. and they've inherited the house. Well, they inherit the house, there's still monthly fees down here that's got to be paid. You know, your lights cannot be shut off. The air conditioning has to be, the air mover, whatever you got, has to be moving air at all times. So most people turn them down to say 80 degrees when they leave. That way it comes on once in a while and the air is moving. It's for the mold. You understand that. Insurance has got to be paid. Property taxes got to be paid. Amenity fees got to be paid. All these things are paid. So an empty house sitting here is going to cost you an average of $500 to $600 a month. Well, some people just don't have that extra amount of cash like that, or if they do, it's not that much. So sometimes those people are in a hurry to get that house sold, and they'll take less just to get it out of their hands and be done with it. And then they get whatever, you know, money out of the house, and they probably need it. So you might be able to get on one of them. How you would find out exactly which ones are like that, I don't know. But on the normal way of doing things here, if I decide I want to buy a bigger house somewhere else and I'm going to sell this house, you'll be dealing with me. I'm in a really good location for me. May not be a good location for everybody, but I'm in between something like 13 golf courses. That's #1 for me. I'm in a very reasonable golf cart ride to the downtown square at Wildwood. 10 minutes, if that, 7 minutes. Regional Rec Center just down the road. I can walk to our mailbox. I can walk to our neighborhood rec center. We're in between 3 and 4 different shopping plazas here by golf cart, 5-10 minutes each way. So I'm not going anywhere. But if I should decide to sell this house, you'll be dealing with me, and the odds are I'm not going to come down unless it's a have-to situation, which right now it's not. So yeah, here prices of houses that have sold have risen in the last 3.5 years, I think pretty substantial. What kind of upgrades a lot of people's done, I don't know. But the prices have went up here, so it's just keep all that in mind. Tom Martin. Oh, the politics of pickleball. I'm not getting into that. Rick Donk, I think I already talked about him. Thank you for responding to my question. Of time possibility, you mentioned gatekeepers, lawn, maintenance for part example. I have also heard there are folks that watch homes for snowbirds. Yes. Is there a company snowbirds contract with for this service, or is this another part-time job possibility for an individual? Now, there are companies. I contracted for the first 4 years I owned mine. I rented it out myself. I did not hire a property management. I knew a couple of things around here, and I never had a problem. Never lost a dollar. Never had anything tore up, except one time there was somebody in my house that wasn't supposed to be there. He was a guest of the person who did rent my house, and he come back drunk in my golf cart and he wrecked it. And it was $500 damage to get the golf cart put back together the way it was. And I told the lady that rented my house, "You're responsible for this." And she said, "But I didn't wreck the golf cart." I said, "I don't care. He's your guest, not mine. I didn't rent the house to him. I rented it to you." Now, I might sound like I'm being tough, but that's just the way it is. And then she said, "Okay, I guess that's right, so I'll take care of it." Well, come to find out, when the golf cart was ready and to go back to the house, which I didn't really want to send it back to the house knowing that guy might still be there, so I called her up. And she assured me, no, he got on a bus this morning and left wherever he went. I said, "Well, I'm having that golf cart sent back." And I said, "So by the way, I'm sending my homeowner a watch guy over there just to check everything, make sure it's okay, because I know we wrecked it." That's when she said, "There might be a little crack in the garage floor where he hit that pole." She said, "But it's nothing too serious." Okay, he goes over, he calls me up, my home watch guy, and tells me about what it is. And here's why a good home watch guy is critical. I'm in Indiana. I've got a crack in my concrete, and that was a pole, a big metal pole that came right up in front of the furnace. So, and that's where the golf cart parked, and that was there specifically to protect that furnace in case the golf cart come in there too far. And he hit that pole so hard, He didn't hurt the furnace or anything, but he cracked the concrete floor right there where it's concreted in. He said, do you know anybody to fix this, or do you want me to call somebody? And I said, well, you're going to have to call somebody, I guess. He said, well, I'll call my buddy. He said, he does this work all the time down here, and he said he's very good at it. I said, okay. So his buddy calls me. He said, yeah, he said, I've done that work quite a bit. He said, it'll probably cost you about $400 to cut that concrete out, get a new pole, and re-concrete it back down in the ground and all that. And I said, okay. So he did. And if I hadn't had my home watch guy see, I would never have known about that crack in the floor because nobody told me. So that's where it's critical. And not only that, but he knew somebody to fix it for me too. And when you don't live in this state, see, all that stuff is critical. To me it is. Air conditioner went out one day. The guy that lived there was from England. He called me up. He said that the furnace was running, but the house went from 78 to like 82. He told me, he says, no worries. He said, from England, he said, we're enjoying it. He said, we got a couple of fans, we're good. Well, I'm not good about it. So I called my home watch guy. He went over, he looked at it that very same day, like 30 minutes later. And he calls me up and he says, yeah, he said, the condenser part isn't running. The air mover is running in the garage, but the outside part, the condenser part, ain't running. He said, do you know an air conditioner guy, or do you want me to call somebody for you? I said, yeah, call somebody for me because I don't know anybody. And he did. We're eating dinner with friends out in a restaurant. 1 hour later, this is a fact, 1 hour later, I get a phone call. From Florida, that's all I knew. It wasn't on my ID. And I answered it. And the guy, he gave me his name and what company he was with. He said, I'm here, I got your air conditioner fixed. He said, it was your condenser went out. He said, in Florida, that's an ever-occurring problem. He said, matter of fact, he said, my company recommends changing those condensers every 5 years. He says, just like changing the spark plugs in a car, it's preventing maintenance because they're going to go out sooner or later because we use them so much down here. I said, I didn't know that. I said, so how much was it? $165. This was on a Sunday. This was in the afternoon, and he was there. $165 for parts and labor. I have no problem with it. I said, so all you need from me is a credit card number then, right? He said, yes, sir. And he did, and he left, and that was the end of it. See, that's a sign of a good home watch guy. Somebody that can get that stuff taken care of for you quick. And I've recommended this guy. He doesn't come down to the new area I live at. He's getting older now, and he's got so many houses up there. He just doesn't come down here anymore. So I don't know who to recommend down here. I know that Nancy or Kevin and them are going to want to get one. The only thing I'm going to say is when you get a home watch guy, make sure he's insured and make sure he's bonded. There's so many of these people here that thinks that all they got to do is tell you $40 a month and a golf cart, and they'll run around and they'll check your house for you, and they'll look at this, they'll look at that, blah, blah, blah. And they're not insured, they're not bonded. So when you come down here and all of a sudden find something missing, or something's been stolen, or something's been broken, they're never going to know nothing about it. And an insured and bonded guy, those things like almost never happen. Like I said, my guy was for 4 years. I never had a problem like that, ever. But I know what you guys are going to do, so that might really be not a big issue for you, but just information, just keep it in mind. And also to find a home watch guy that goes all the way down to Finney, I don't know any. Most of them have territorial areas. Any of these guys that I know here don't go to Finney, that area. So, you know, there might be somebody down there considering starting one. I give you a name of a company that I see around here. I don't know anything about them. They could be good, they could be bad, they could be way overpriced. You have to check them out. It's called Red Carpet. I think they got a website. You can check them out and give them a call, see what they say, you know, and compare prices anyway. So if you're wanting to start a home watch service, you know, just do it right, and you shouldn't have any problem. The average home watch is around $40, $45 a month, and they do everything. They don't mow, but what they do is they go around the house once a week. I'm just giving you some things they do. Go around the house once a week, making sure that there's no visible damage, making sure that the long landscapers are doing what they're supposed to be doing. He'll make note of them, making sure there's no cracks in the windows, no rips in your screens, any of that kind of stuff. And if there's any newspapers laying in your driveway or in your lanai, he'll pick them up and trash them for you. You think, well, if I'm not there, I don't have a newspaper. Well, that's true and not true. We got Home Watch, HOA, and VHA, and some other POA. They all have these free monthly newspapers they go around, and they throw them in everybody's driveway. And if you're not here, that stuff just lays there. And you get 2 or 3 of them laying there, and it gets kind of obvious that there's nobody home, and you don't want that. So, yeah, he'll pick all them up, and he'll trash them for you, and he'll walk in your house, and usually about once a month on an average, or maybe it's once a week. It might be once a month. He flushes all your toilets, and he'll turn on all your spigots, your water in the house, faucets in the house. That's to keep mold and stuff from growing. And then he'll run your dishwasher through a cycle, once again, to keep the mold and stuff from growing. And then that's it. I mean, he does a lot of extra stuff. Also, they usually charge $1 for this or an extra $1 for that. My Home Watch guy, because I had renters in the wintertime, and before we come down, they would clean the house for us. You know, they would sweep the floors, wipe the windows, clean the counter, mop the floors, whatever, clean the toilets and all that kind of stuff. And then, because they knew, I always sent them an email knowing exactly what date I was going to arrive, they would go ahead and turn my temperature of the house down to about 75. So when we walked in, everything was nice and comfortable. He never charged me for that. I don't know why. We would leave him tips and things there, but I always felt like he ought to just charge me an extra $10 or $15, $20. I didn't care, just for that. But I think it's because we were with him for so long that it was just one of them services he gave us, you know, and I always appreciated that. Okay, I think I've answered most of your questions, Donk, Mr. Donk. Avram Yule. Oh, you want to do a meet and greet with me and Sue? Okay, I responded back. Says, okay, great. We'll reach out over the next few days or so. We'll be staying at Creekside Villas. That's up there at Lake Sumter. Man, I don't know what they use around here anymore for lifestyle visits. They used to use what's called Adrian Dales over here by Brownwood by the double tunnel, and now they're using Kevin was telling me, it's the ones over there on the other side of 44. They're behind the Publix grocery store area back there. Anyway, they're very nice back there, but I guess they're using them back there too. And now you're telling me that you're staying at Creekside Villas. Well, you might not be here for a lifestyle visit, though, are you? It doesn't say that. I guess I just presumed. You might be just renting that for a week or two off of somebody. My mistake. We're staying at the Creekside Villas near Lake Sumter Landing. The weather moderate up here. Weekday, 7 to 10 hour heat wave. Okay. Just like I said before, just let me know when and where. It says Norris Hanson. We chatted a bit in the YouTube comments section. Anyway, we did the lifestyle preview and loved what we saw. Do you and Sue ever go to Ocala? Yes. Not very often. And when I say not very often, I'm saying like maybe twice a year. I used to go a little bit more than that because my eye doctor was up there, and so I had to go up there. Since then, I found, I shouldn't say eye doctor, ear doctor that took care of my hearing aids. He was the only one in this area that covered my brand of hearing aid. Since then, a lady opened up a shop not too far down the road in Leesburg from here. And I went down there because it's so much more convenient for me. So I don't go to Ocala for that anymore. We looked online and saw a lot of interesting restaurants, and they look like 20-30 minute drive from the villages. Yeah, depending on which way you go. If you go up 75, you can get to, I forget what exit it is, County Road 200 or something like that. And if you get off there and hang a right, that takes you right down It'll take you right downtown, but also along that road. That's the main road where there's shopping malls, a lot of restaurants, just different things there. You stay on that road, and it'll literally take you right downtown Old Ocala. And when you get down there, it'll be 27 and 441. If you turn right on that, that'll take you right straight down to Spanish Springs and the Villages. Says it's an idea for a video. Well, it is and it ain't. I'm not going to drive all the way up there just for video. Because most of my analytics shows me that most of the people probably, and I have to get the analytics out and look, but 65% of my people, I like that. They're interested in the Villages and what goes on around here. What's inside the bubble? Where is the edge of the bubble? Where's the bubble moving to next? What kind of restaurants do you have in there that's got good seafood? What kind of restaurants inside the bubble that has a good steak? Houses being constructed. Those are kind of questions that I get a lot, and that's what most of my viewers like. So I've kind of concentrated mostly on things here in the Villages, what's going on. I do add a little bit of travel and things like that in my personal life. Because I get a lot of questions about it, so I do throw some things in there. I try not to get too gaudy with it or too lengthy with it or whatever, but we do try to accommodate everybody that has a question or a suggestion as much as we can, because we really appreciate you viewers. We really do. I'm pushing 2,000 now, and long term I'd like to see 10,000. I don't know how long that's going to be. So, you know, it is what it is, and I'm going by the analytics to see who's watching mostly what, and the average age group, and that kind of thing. Look, I know I'm an old guy, you know, so 13-year-old kids ain't going to watch me. Well, 13-year-old kids ain't going to buy a $250,000 house in the Villages either. See what I'm saying? So I know who I'm dealing with. It gets into, I don't know, personal attitude maybe. Some people don't like my attitude about things. Some people don't like my off-the-shoulder comments about stuff. And that's fine. You know, the Villages ain't for everybody, and neither am I. It is what it is. But I try to be accommodating to most people. If they want to meet and greet, I generally will do it, if I can. There's no promises there. Because I do have a life. This is not my life. Sue right now is at the vet. She took the dog to the vet. The dog's been acting a little, I don't know, a little off the last 2 or 3 days. So she's up there with the vet. I want to read something to you. From this book. I don't know if you've all got this book yet, or if you've been thinking about it. But I just thought it'd be interesting to read a couple of things, just so you would know. A little information. I wish I could find it now. Okay, Orange Blossom Gardens. This is way back when the Villages first started. Schwartz and Tarson labored with Orange Blossom Gardens during the 1970s, but by the early 1980s, the community had only sold 400 homes. Wanting to turn things around, Schwartz bought out his partner and asked his son, Gary Morris, to help him with the business. Morris moved from Michigan to take over operations in 1983. Realizing that communities like Sun City, with a golf course, stock ponds, and hobby shops were successful, in part due to their amenities, the father-son team began to improve the development. Morris's wife Sharon, that's why they call it the Sharon Morris Theater, also pitched in with her interior design skills. She upgraded the common areas and created a style for the buildings and homes in the community, a concept that plays an important part in the ambiance of the Villages of today. Orange Blossom Gardens grew and soon began pushing the boundaries of the original mobile home park. Schwartz began to purchase and upgrade large tracts of land on the west side of Highway 441 in Sumter and Marion counties. In 1985, Orange Blossom Gardens was annexed into the town of Wildwood. Okay. Let me finish up what I was reading. Just a little bit more to go. I know, different hat, different shirt. This is the next day. I forgot to finish up the video yesterday. Okay, where did I leave at? 1985, Orange Blossom Gardens was annexed into the town of Lady Lake. By then, fiestas were also being held in the community plaza, and the development had 2 pools, horseshoe, bocce ball, and tennis courts, and the front 9 of the Orange Blossom Hills golf course. Also that year, Swartz's granddaughter, Jennifer Parr, took over home sales. Now, if you guys don't know who Jennifer Parr is, you do. You really do. If you've ever watched the Village's V-mail most of the time, or the Village's advertisement, it's on Fox News sometimes, the long-haired girl that's that talks about the Villages, that's Jennifer Parr. And for some of you that don't know, Jennifer Parr's daughter is on the blacklist. I can't think of the name of her character because I really don't watch the show that much. It's a really good show, I just don't watch it. But she's the main character, the guy that goes around and kills everybody for government reasons, I guess. It's his daughter on that show that's with him, that girl, that's Jennifer Parr's daughter. So she's related to the original developer of the Villages. So, realizing that a successful community needed more than activities to keep its residents happy, the family developers began a plan to create a self-contained community that provided everything its residents would need. Gary's son, Mark Morse, who's the head CEO developer today, joined the team and began work on First Commercial and Medical Center, La Plaza Grande. The plaza drew a bank and a medical office, but to fill the plaza and lure more tenants, the family started and managed several businesses of their own to fill the storefront, to get people to come in. You get them to come in to shop, you get them to look around out of curiosity. That produces home sales. Orange Blossom Hills also began to design and manufacture their own homes. They went basically from trailers at that point to, they're going to start mowing grass over here, so you're going to hear the noise. Sorry. I can't never predict that. Mountain Lanai, I like doing it out here because I just like my lanai. And seems like really good lighting here too, so this is where I do it. I'll do the best I can. He's on the side yard. It shouldn't take him very long, and he ought to be heading that way on the backyard, and then we won't hear him near as much. There he goes. Okay, they started taking modular homes, or manufactured homes instead of house trailers, and they actually started setting them down on slabs, and they created a look of, they look like a real stick-built home, and in some ways they are, but they're not, and so they went from trailers to that at that point in time. In 1987, the development had $40 million in annual sales and more than $4 million in profits, but growth continued. A bowling center and a grocery store moved in, and the size of the recreation department doubled. What they're not talking about here, Ryan's not talking about here, what made the Villages actually take off. There was one main ingredient that really got it to go. And that same ingredient is what's going to let Finney and Southern Oaks and all that down there grow. And that's bridges and tunnels. That development he had at Orange Blossom was landlocked. He had to be able to get across 441 and 27 to do what he wanted to do, his vision. I got a lot of respect for Mr. Swartz and his vision, I really do. And the effort and the time back in the day was, to me, just phenomenal. But he had to get that golf cart bridge. Nobody had ever heard of a golf cart bridge. Why do you need a golf cart bridge? Well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. These are the comments I'm sure he heard when he went to government and went to all the different zonings and the permissions and all these things he had to have to get that golf cart bridge put in. Make a long story short, he got it put in. The world's first golf cart bridge, as far as I know, in the United States, the only golf cart bridge is right there, and Mr. Schwartz made it happen. Once he had access to come across 441 to get to this side, bingo bango, that's where it all took off. He had all that property over there. That's when Spanish Springs took in. He had to create a community center. I'm getting ahead of myself here. A bowling center was put in. Grocery stores moved in. The size of the recreation department doubled. Home sales also flourished. The village neighborhood concept, the villages of, here is Hillsboro, the village of LaBelle, the village of Collier. That's what you're talking about. Instead of neighborhoods, it's the village of, the village of. So the village neighborhood concept was created, and the villages of Del Mar, El Cortez, Mira Mesa were built. In the early 1990s, a golf course and the first recreation center were built on the new side of the highway. That'd be the Spanish Springs side. Orange Blossom Gardens got their first home-owned bank, and the first phase of La Hacienda Hotel was opened. I've stayed there many times back in the day. Back in the day, that was a very plush hotel. Haven't been there in many years. I don't know anything about it. But we used to walk from there to Spanish Springs downtown when we came here for a day or two visit. It was very, very nice, very quiet. Like I said, I don't know what it is like today, because since I've stayed at La Hacienda, there's a Holiday Inn Express that built next door to it, and I don't know much about that place either. Orange Blossom Gardens got the first home-owned bank, and the first phase of La Hacienda Hotel was opened. Schwartz's second son, Richard, joined on as golf director. You know, because they knew he was going to have, I think at that point they had decided this was going to be a golfing community by taking lessons from other people. And I think maybe at that time, Mr. Schwartz had decided that golf cart travel was the thing. And maybe not. Maybe later down the road somebody decided that every neighborhood, every grocery store, everything in here has to be connected by golf cart trail, because that is a big, big, big selling point. It was to me. Long story short, I've watched my family as they've gotten older, and my dad lose their driving ability. They couldn't pass the driver's test. They couldn't drive a car anymore. It was devastating to my dad and a couple of my uncles. I mean, just devastating to them, that they couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't do what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it. And I decided then, I said, if that ever happens to me, at least here, I'll be able to get in my golf cart and go visit some buddies around the neighborhood. You know, go have a beer with some guy over here, or go play cards with some friends of mine over here. Go to a driveway party, which we have on a regular basis. Go to a rec center at a swimming pool. I can do all them little things. It doesn't sound like much now, but if only my dad could have done that. Take care, and I'll see you all on the other side.